Today's episode of Coco Cigar Cutie will be brought to you by Smoke the Collection. Wear what you smoke. And today we are going to be joined by Miss Magnolia, the Cellar Geek, to talk about wines for the summer and your cigars that you're going to pair with them. So I am so excited. Um, are you there, Miss Magnolia?
Yeah, it's start video. Oh,
There
okay, there.
you go.
I'm having to click buttons at the bottom here.
How are you today?
I'm doing good. My
Good,
house
good.
is cold this morning. Tennessee weather is up and down right now. Like we had a frost advisory like 2 days ago.
Mhm.
Like it's in the middle of summer. Why is there a frost advisory?
Yeah, we had one this morning. So was it last week? No. Yeah, last week we were 90 degrees. Today, a frost warning. So yeah,
Uh,
I
yeah,
wish that Father Time and Mother Nature get their acts together. I mean, they must be feuding right now. So
I know. I thought it was gonna be warm this morning, so I put on like a strappy thing.
Mhm.
And I was like, actually, the house is a little cold. And I went and checked the thermostat, and it was like it's 63 degrees in your house.
Wow. Wow.
So
Yeah,
like,
I did the same thing. I have on short sleeves, but I have a jacket right here because I was shocked when my heat came on. I was like, why is the heat coming on? And
yeah,
again, my same thing. Mine's was 63 degrees. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, here we are going to talk about spring and summer wines and cigars, and we in the middle of winter right now.
I know. It's so. I was like, I wonder why I didn't feel like it was colder earlier. It's 63 in my house,
Right.
and then I thought, you know what? Normally I'm in cellars at 55 degrees, and that's
Mhm.
not cold for me. So
Oh,
it's like
okay.
body acclimated to just cold because I normally work in a cold room. So I was
Oh,
like,
okay. Yeah. So I totally understand that. So summer and spring is here. Spring is here, I guess. I mean, it's here every now and again. It's here part-time. It's working a part-time job right now.
spring.
So a lot of us, I know for me, spring is the time that I start to really think about my wine selections with my cigars. And I don't know if I'm the only person that does that because I feel like there's seasons to wine, or I know that there's not. I mean, you can drink wine whenever and whatever, but I just feel like I want to go into more of a springy floral type of wine experience for the spring and summer. And maybe it's because I want it to be a little chilled, or I'm not really sure. So that's why I have you here, because you're such a wine connoisseur that I figured that you could give us some great tips on spring, summer wines with cigars. And I just want to start off with the white ones, the white wines. So, do you have a white wine that you would pair with a cigar, like for a brunch, for like an early Sunday brunch?
I would probably do a Riesling. So Riesling has the body to be able to hold up to a cigar. Now, with whites, it's never going to go with a heavy cigar like a Maduro.
Hmm.
Um, it's always going to go with something more like a Connecticut, or even maybe on the a medium minus. Maybe
Hmm.
depending on which Riesling you get.
Hmm.
There's quite a range of Rieslings. I think most people don't understand because when they go to the store to get Rieslings, a lot of the times you're getting a certain price point of a Riesling,
Hmm.
and it just says Riesling on the bottle. But Riesling actually has different categories of Riesling on a sweetness scale.
Okay.
So the sweetness scale is due to when they pick the grapes on the vines.
Hmm.
So I describe it to people as the scale is like if you buy grapes at your grocery store, you put them in your refrigerator. You
Hmm.
get them when you first come to the store, they're like big and plump and juicy and they look super yummy. And then if you leave them in your fridge for say like 3 weeks, a month, what do they look like? They're shriveled up
Hmm.
raisins, moldy, they're gross. You got to toss them in the trash. You got to wipe down your counter. Like that's the scale of Rieslings.
Oh wow. Okay.
So the big talk store-bought ones are going to be your Riesling Cabinet.
Mhm.
Those are dry. Those are going to be crisp. Those are going to be also, the scale is a price scale as well.
Mhm.
So those wines that are store-bought, those are going to be cheaper. Those are going to be really good for summer too, like a porch pounder or to go by the pool, because it's crisp and bright, but also has a little bit of sweetness to it.
Okay.
As you go down the scale, you get into what's called ice wine, which is super sweet. That's when you're taking the grapes that are gross in your refrigerator, you're throwing in the trash. They've got
Mhm.
mold in them. They're shrinkled up like a raisin.
Mhm.
Wine's very expensive. It's very, very sweet. It is like motor oil. It is so thick. It's so
Oh.
sweet. It is like the nectar of the gods. I would not suggest that far in the scale for cigar smoking. Also, it's quite pricey. That's when you're getting into $100 or more per bottle.
Mhm.
That's not even a full bottle.
Oh,
That's a little bitty half bottle of wine. Yeah, because it's so sweet. Nobody wants to drink a full like giant bottle. So it's like a baby bottle. It's like $100 or more. So it's
wow.
different in the scale. You know, the cabinets and the wines you get in the store, you can get those for like $10
Mhm.
sometimes. You can very affordable. But so the scale goes Riesling Cabinet, Schmottlese, Auslese, Beer and Auslese, Trocken Beer and Auslese, ice wine. That is the range of Rieslings for summer and for drinking outside. I would go for the first two. They're price effective. So you're going for Riesling Cabinet and Riesling Spatlese. Spatlese
Mhm.
is going to be a little bit on the sweeter side. I quite enjoy them. They're very lovely, very sultrous. And I think the silkiness of it and a little bit more of that body is going to go really well with like a cabinet. I mean, a Connecticut or even a medium body. When you get just a slight skip forward to the Auslese, Riesling Auslese, it's going to be quite a price jump. So
Okay.
that's going to be looking at like $50 to $60 a bottle. So that might be a little bit more than some people are looking to spend on a Riesling. So
Mhm.
I would stick with the first two. Normally, if you go in a store and you find a Riesling and it doesn't have the word cabinet underneath it, you
Mhm.
can assume that it is that.
Okay, good
Because
to
it's
know.
going,
So let me ask you, so with the Riesling, is
mm,
it better to have it in your wine fridge or refrigerator, or like keep it on ice, or is it like a is it okay to drink it room temperature?
if you're drinking it outside and it slowly warms up, I think it's fine. I've drank a warmer Riesling and it's fine. But I do want to say you'll want to start out cold. Most people right now who are smoking cigars, you're smoking it in your garage with the garage door open. You're
Mhm.
out by the pool. You're outside where it's hot.
Mhm.
So just realistically, I would start refrigerator temperature because it's gonna go up.
Okay.
It's
Now,
gonna
let me ask you this question, because some people will put ice cubes in their wine. Is
yeah.
that recommended?
No, don't do that. It waters down your wine. A good trick for doing, if that's what you want to do, if you want to keep your wine really cold, take grapes and freeze them.
Mm-hmm.
Take actual grapes and put them in your freezer and then use those as ice cubes. They won't melt, they won't water down your wine, but they'll keep them cold. And it'll look cool because you'll have grapes in the bottom of your glass.
Okay, that's good to know. Good to know. Okay, people that have
And
been putting ice in your wine glasses, put grapes instead, frozen grapes instead. Okay, so let's move to uh,
drink. Nobody wants a watered down drink. That's what you're doing with ice. You're watering your drink down. So why
exactly
that? You're wanting to keep it cold, but who wants a watered down drink? So
right.
just do frozen grapes. It looks cool. You can talk to people. Oh, what are you doing? What is that? You can talk to them about this cool hack that you
Mm-hmm.
found. And then, you keep your wine cold, but it's still stout.
Right, right. So let's talk about a rosé. So do you have a recommendation for the rosés with, spring, summer with cigars? Because rosés, I feel like they would go better with your Connecticut's as well.
I would not suggest rosés with cigars. Rosés are too delicate with their floral notes.
Mm-hmm.
it's just going to get lost in a cigar.
Okay.
Those nuances in a rosé are a little bit too fragile to hold up to a cigar. I wouldn't suggest it. If that's like what you like, then drink what you like. Don't tell you not to do it. Do what you want. Once you buy it, it's yours. But
Right.
I wouldn't suggest that. For whites, really, you want to go with body. Um, Rosés are quite light. They're fragile. They're like a delicate flower.
Okay.
So you want to stand out with body. If you want another white, then I would get like a California Chardonnay.
Hmm.
Chardonnay has the body of the grape varietal has a body to hold up to a cigar.
Okay.
You want to do probably more, not the Burgundy or the Chablis, like not a French Chardonnay. You'd
Hmm.
probably want to do a Californian because then you have the buttery and the oakiness. You have all those nuances to be able to hold up to a cigar.
Okay. Okay. Got you. Okay. So then let's get right into the reds, because red wine, since we've talked the last time, I'm beginning to get into red wine, and I'm really beginning to like them. And a shocker. It really is a shocker to me that I'm actually enjoying some red wines. So, what red wines would you suggest for like a nice summery picnic? Because I know red wines, they don't necessarily are chilled. They're more of a I found that I like them like at a room temperature.
So, when you hear in the US people say to drink red wine at room temperature, there's a little bit of a misconception there because you think the room temperature is the United States room temperature. No, it's the European room temperature, which is
Hmm.
cooler. So you're supposed to drink your reds a little bit cooler than normal Americans drink. And by doing that, what you're doing is you're muting the alcohol flavors of it. And you're allowing the flavor profile of the wine to shine through. If
Hmm.
you your red wine a little bit too warm, then the alcohol flavors are going to overpower those nuances. You're going to lose like the cocoa, you're going to lose the black currant, you're going to lose the blackberries, the chocolate, the leather. All these other flavor profiles that are red wine are going
Hmm.
to be overshadowed by the alcohol flavor. Um, it's just, science is what happens to it.
Hmm.
Want to have it a little bit cooler, especially out in the summer. Like, it just makes it easier to drink too. If you have too much of that alcohol flavor popping through, then it's harder to like drink. So I do have some red wines. I've got 5 picked out for summer
Hmm.
because I don't know, I kind of went with red wines for summertime. So we've got a red burgundy for one. So you're gonna want to go for a lighter red burgundy.
Hmm.
So Burgundy is Pinot Noir
Okay.
out Burgundy, France. So it's the region.
Okay.
Tries to confuse you, and it'll never have the grape varietal on the bottle. What it does is France expects you to know what the grape varietal is in the bottle, dependent on the region that it's made in. Like Bordeaux, France.
Hmm.
Bordeaux wine is not Bordeaux grapes. That's the region. The
Okay.
grape, the grapes in it is Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot and Cabernet Franc, but they'll never have those on the bottle.
Okay.
So just fine. So red Burgundy is Pinot Noir out of France, out of the Burgundy region. A lighter one, you could probably get around $30.
Hmm.
I had one the other day that was very lovely. Hey, if you want to know if it's light, hold it up to the light. If you can see through it, if you can see the color profile on it,
Oh,
and it looks light, then it's going to drink light. So that's a really
okay.
good fix to it. So you're probably going to find them around $25 to $30 a bottle. I had one the other day with an Antonio by Drew Estate, and it
Mhm.
paired so well. It drank well. It melded together really nicely. I
Mhm.
love the Antonio. Um, Another one is a Malbec from Mendoza, Argentina. So
Mhm.
Malbecs from Argentina have really changed over the years. They used to be super popular and trendy, and the trend kind of slowed down. So the price point's really great, but the quality's still high. So since the demand isn't very high there, you can get them at usually a really good price point, like $15 a bottle.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
Juicy and have a little bit of floral notes in it. It's going to hold up to any cigar that you're smoking.
Hmm.
A really great price point and very easily found. I mean, a Malbec from Argentina, and it's usually from the Mendoza region.
Hmm.
So you really don't have to look for it. It's usually from that region.
Okay.
There's pretty much in any wine store you can find a Malbec from Argentina. So it's easily accessible as well. Beaujolais is another really great one. It's a lighter wine. Gamay is the grape varietal. It's going to be kind of what I call a dirty wine. So you're
Mhm.
going to have a lot of those earthy flavors in it, but it is lighter bodied. It's just really delicious. It will hold up to any cigar that you smoke.
Mhm.
And also, you might as well get you 2 bottles because it's going to drink really fast.
Okay.
Alcohol is low, but it drinks so well. It's
Hmm.
just so tasty. You're just gonna keep on drinking it. So
Okay.
go bottles of that if you go get play because you're gonna blow through the first one. It's a
And
great
then the second one, you'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, it's really good. So,
It's an outdoor wine for sure because it's such a bright red wine. It'll
mhm.
go great outside, like on your porch or by your pool. It's very versatile, and I think it paired very well with any level of cigar that you're smoking, even if you go
Mhm.
up to Duro. Another one is an Oregon Pinot Noir. So we talked earlier about a French Pinot Noir from Burgundy,
Mhm.
France. If you want one locally, you can get an Oregon Pinot Noir. You're going to get those a little bit better of a price point. You can get those probably like $10. They probably have some Oregon Pinot Noirs at like Aldi's, some deal ones.
Wait, did you say Aldi's?
Yeah, Aldi's sells wine.
Wow. Okay.
A lot of people ask me questions about how to find good wines at Aldi's.
Hmm.
And so it's no problem to find good, bang for your buck
Hmm.
value. But what you want to do is look at the alcohol percentage. So that's kind of your trick to be able to
Okay.
make not getting a wine that already has ice cubes in it, that's already watered down.
Okay.
So if you get an Oregon Pinot Noir from Aldi's, if you're seeing something that's like $10, look at the alcohol percentage. It should be at least 13%.
Okay.
Lower than that, it's going to be watered down, and you're just not getting enough for your value. And I know in this day and age with inflation, everybody wants to get their value.
Right.
So don't buy something that's like partially water.
Now let
Um,
me ask you about the percentage. Is that for all wines, white Rieslings? Is are you always looking for the 13%?
No, no. Alcohol percentage is different per wine, per region, per varietal.
Okay.
It red wines are typically at least 13%. That's the baseline. At least 13%.
Mhm.
I'm giving you a little bit of leeway because you're also looking at like a $10, $5, $6 bottle of wine. So
Okay.
you have to have a bit of give in that. You're not expecting like the best.
Mhm.
It's gonna have a little bit of water in it. Um, but to just have, a good balance with that. 13%. If you're looking like a Cabernet Sauvignon out of California, you're looking at 14%.
Got you.
Um, if you're getting a banger, it should be like 15.
Okay.
So they're hot, they're high alcohol. That's how they run. Same thing for Shiraz out of Australia. They're going to be
Mhm.
high alcohol. So they're going to be at least 14, but really more like a 14.5.
Mhm.
Flings, as you go up in sweetness in a wine, the alcohol percentage is going to go down.
Okay.
Say that wine I mentioned earlier, the ice wine, it's
Mhm.
like a bottle and it's really expensive. That one's going to be probably like 8% alcohol.
Okay.
Not going to give you a buzz. And that's you're going back. I'm getting into too much detail probably, but you're going back in how wine's made. So wine's made by yeast. So the yeast is introduced, or wild yeast, it lives on the grapevines. They can do either. But so the grapes have sugar in them already, right?
Mhm.
The yeast wants to eat the sugar. So the yeast gets introduced to wine, it eats the sugar and it poops out the alcohol.
Okay.
what happens? You're drinking yeast poop. So so if a wine
But
is
it's so good though.
yeah, if a wine is sweet, think of it as like the yeast hasn't finished their meal yet.
Okay.
Still a lot of sugar left. So the alcohol is going to be lower. They weren't able to completely finish their meal. If they completely finish their meal, then the alcohol percentage is going to be higher.
Hmm.
You kind of look at that way if you're looking at sweeter. And if you're looking at white wines, that's a great way usually to also gauge if something's sweet. Sometimes I've been in Aldi's or somewhere where they don't really give you the full description. They just
Hmm.
say a white blend and you've no idea what's in there.
Right.
Look at the alcohol percentage. And if it says something like 12% or 11.5, it's going to be a sweet wine.
Okay.
Kind of a good gauge, a good number to look at to kind of gauge, what you're buying. Because a lot of people, or not even people, sometimes a wine doesn't tell you. It
Right.
doesn't tell you what is in it. It's just the way it is.
Okay. Okay.
Another one is Paso Robles. So hitting up California, there's a wine region called Paso Robles. They make fantastic reds. It's super cool out there. It's a blooming, blossoming wine region in California. A
Hmm.
friend of mine actually makes wine out there called Hubba Wines. Her name's Riley. So this is one of her bottles. It's Hubba Wines.
Oh, okay.
And she makes her wines and she names them from her family, the Eskimo. So it'd be like
Oh.
her family. And then she has all the information on the back so you can see
Hmm.
the whole breakdown. This is not something you can normally get in stores, but you can order from her directly and she'll ship it to your house. Because that's
Okay.
how I get mine. I get them shipped. Fantastic, big, bold, great with any cigar. Maybe not so much at Connecticut, but medium to full body for sure. And then the other ones that are really cool, people might not know, or maybe just not know. They might skip right over it. Actually, wine does not always come in a bottle or a box.
Okay.
Other ways for wine to come, and a real popular one right now is cans.
What?
Canned wine. So you can get great valued wine in a can, and usually they're around. I looked up one of them that I bought. This one here. So this was $5. A can holds 2 glasses of wine. So you're looking at $2.50 per per glass. And with that, every canned wine of red that I've ever had is a lighter bodied wine. So if you're going somewhere and you want to have something a little chill, toss it in with your other stuff, other cans in your cooler. When you get there, crack it open and you can drink it. It's super easy. You don't have to bring a wine opener with you if you're going somewhere. You can
Right.
toss trash. It doesn't weigh down the trash can. So it's really some great stuff. I tagged them, all these wineries, in the story that I posted before this. But yeah, canned wine. So they're right in the wine section. You probably walked right past them and not
I
even know.
probably have and never even gave it a second thought to even look at it. So now I feel like I need to go back because I need that. I need.
They're really
Yeah.
they're great deals. $5, $6 normally. I think the high end I've seen $8. Still, that's $4 a glass. That's
Right.
cheaper than any happy hour you can get in a restaurant.
Exactly. Exactly.
They're great values. And the reasoning for a lot of wineries now, there's some boxed wines that are much nicer than they used to. Boxed wines used to be thought of as like a cheap, gross wine.
Right.
And that's not the case anymore. Those are still on the shelf, the very economical wines. But there's some other wineries that are coming out that are really great stuff. My friend Riley out in Paso Robles, she has a system where you can come and refill your bladder with her wines. So they'll sanitize it. They'll go in and you'll get real, like the wine in this bottle, but in a bag. So you're getting high quality wines that will last. It's preserved because if you've ever had wine out of a box, it's their system. It preserves it. So you can go in and get a glass and like a month later get a glass and the wine hasn't gone bad. It's the preservation system. It doesn't allow air in. So the wine doesn't get oxidized. But, so you have to think outside of the box now, because what people are doing and wineries are doing is they're cutting out the cost in the wine.
Mm-hmm.
So this bottle, you're looking at the cork. The cork runs a winery about $1 for the cork.
Mm-hmm.
Then you glass of the bottle, that costs money. The weight of it to ship, the
Mm-hmm.
design and the print of the labels. There's a lot that's put into the cost that you buy this bottle. That's not just the wine.
Right.
And people now just want the stuff. They just want the juice.
Right.
They don't want all the packaging. So now wineries have come up with other ways, like cans. They're lightweight. They have no cork to them. They can ship easily. They're recyclable. They're just a lot more friendly. So with that, you get a lower price point because you're not paying for all the other stuff. You're not paying for the cork and the weight of the glass and the bottle and all these other. Yeah, so you can get them really affordable, but don't think just because it's affordable, it's a bad quality wine.
Mm-hmm.
They're cutting out all the other costs, so you're really getting it. You're just buying the juice,
Right. I'm so amazed by that, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, I'm never going to drink box wine," right? And I actually had, I think it came in a black box. I think I can't. Was it black box wine? I don't know what the name of it was.
Yeah,
But
black box wine comes in a black box.
it was in a black box. It was just a little. I picked it up because I was actually on my way somewhere, and I was like, they said we can bring wine. I didn't want it, but you couldn't have glass. And I was like, okay, well, this box will do well. And I was shocked that it was so good. Like, I never would have thought I would have picked up a box of wine, right? And I'm like, I actually said out loud, why do people think that box wine is horrible? It was an enjoyable experience for me.
Yeah, the different avenues of having wine has changed over the years. And so box wine is one of those. You're getting different wineries making box wine that are not your normal, not just like Barefoot and Big House. There's different ones that are making them that are actual wineries out in California. Like I said, they'll refill glass for you, so it's eco-friendly because you're not throwing it away.
Right.
You're it, and it lasts a long time. So there's other things happening. I saw some years ago when I was studying wines. So this would have been around 11 or 12 years ago. It was before I met my husband. And I saw the trend and I read the trend on how the wine industry was shifting on away from actual bottles. Bottles will always exist. The corks will always exist. You want that nuance. If you're spending, if you go buy $100 bottle for an anniversary gift or something, you don't want to present it in a box. You want an actual bottle. So that will always exist in the wine world. However, there's other avenues that have been explored and have been used. So there's another one called Tetra Paks that are used for wine. They look like tiny little milk cartons, sort of. Tetra Paks, they're by the cans. Over time, I really thought at the time when I was studying them, Tetra Paks was the new thing. They were going to be everywhere in the future. That has not been the case. There are still some, but canned wine is really where it seemed to shift it towards. You also have to think that the wine industry right now is struggling because you don't have an uptick in purchasing from a younger generation. And the wine industry has been trying for years to try to appeal to that younger generation. So I think canned wines is one of those. There's just been so many other alcohols that have become trendy that have pushed them out. Craft beers, hard seltzers. There's been other crafty things. The whole whiskey bourbon, realm of collecting and small batch and that whole cult. I say cult like cult, but like a whiskey cult. It's pop culture. Tequila. All the celebrities are making their own tequila, so tequila got very popular. There's a lot of things like that. So there's a lot of alcohol categories that have shifted themselves properly to be able to appeal to that younger generation. Wine has not hit those marks. They've tried, They've tried with cool colored pet nats, more graphic design labels, just like this one is. It's a very cool label.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and wines, more affordable wine. They've tried all kinds of different things, but nothing's quite rang that bell with that
Right.
younger generation. So the wine market right now is, if you look at it at a graph, it's declining in purchase because the younger generation coming up isn't purchasing wine. They're
Right.
not buying.
Right.
So I think this is just another effort in their part to appeal to that younger generation. But you have to think. I mean, maybe I'm partial because I'm part of the older generation.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it really appeals to the older generation.
Right.
For we do picnics, we go to pool parties, we have kids,
Mm-hmm.
family. You're tossing stuff in the bag. You don't want to, mom doesn't want to lug around the weight of a bottle of wine, the
Right.
glasses. But tossing in some cans of wine in with the Capri Suns and juice packs, like that's very user friendly.
Exactly. So, listen, I have grandchildren. So, yeah, I can see that those cans of wine, yeah, that's going to be not that I don't take a bottle, but I mean, it's going to be even more efficient now when I have the grandchildren.
Yeah, sure. So I think that they initially marketed it towards the younger generation, but it might be because I'm part of the older generation, but I feel like it really struck a good bell with mothers and families and whatnot. Is just a very user friendly thing.
Yes.
So yeah, look for canned wines.
Oh, I listen, my birthday is on Thursday. So I am going out and I'm going to tell everybody, if you want to get me something, give me some canned wine. Just go ahead and start ordering your canned wine right now. Listen, it could be like, if somebody want to give me a monthly subscription and just buy some canned wine for me to try, I'm all for it. Just send it to me. Just send it to me. I'm all for it. I'll be your taste tester. So,
All in on canned wine movement.
exactly. I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna do my part.
There's usually, I go in lots of wine shops and I look for it in that section. I would say usually there's 2 to 3 different wineries,
Mhm.
like options in that section, and they have 2 to 3 different wines themselves. So there's a decent, selection. I've seen a lot of repetitive ones. But if you really get into it and look into it, and if I come across some that I remember, I'll send it to you. There's a lot of wineries that make their wine in can.
Mhm.
It's not in stores.
Okay. Okay.
You buy direct.
Oh,
So
I see, and I love doing that because my thing this summer is I am going in this area, the DC, Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. My goal is to hit as many wineries this year as possible. That's my goal. That's my goal. So it's funny because I'm turning 57, so the goal is 57 different wineries. That's the goal.
a good goal.
I might have a slight problem, but it's okay. I don't have to go to work.
Are you thinking you're covering that within 1 year?
Yeah, within 1 year. Yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
you'll have to do some wine trips then.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So I can space them out and get to really know the different kinds of wine, because that is where I am now. I'm moving away from, I mean, I still like my cocktails. Don't get me wrong. But I'm moving towards really the relaxation, like on a Sunday afternoon for my brunches, to have my wine, and even if I'm not having a cigar, I still want to have my wine. Like, wine for me on a Sunday is a wind down of the week. That's how I look at it. It's my wind down
yeah.
wine.
Yeah.
So that's what I plan on doing. So thank you for joining me, because this has been interesting. I've been taking notes the whole time that you so I have like 6 or 7 sticky notes here that I'm going to be heading to I'm going to Total Wines first. And then I'll be going to the local liquor store to see if they got the wine in the can. And if not, I'll go back to Total Wines.
Well, Total Wine should have a okay selection, but each place I think carries something a little different.
Yes.
So everywhere, canned wines, it is not a large of a section as the bottles, obviously. So I just try to keep an eye out anywhere I go for canned wines.
Mhm.
If I ever find a producer that I haven't seen before, I snatch it up. They're so
Okay.
affordable. They're so affordable.
Right.
So, yeah, some of these, like this one I picked up in Texas. This is a Texas winery.
Mhm.
Um, I tagged
Okay.
I tagged it in the post, but it's from Texas Plains. It's the Austin winery,
Oh.
Texas wine. But it's so light. I just packed it in my luggage. So,
Right.
and
Oh, I'm so going to be looking up these wineries that you mentioned and tagged in the post. The can is cool. Like for me, it's like it's all about the can and what it's going to look like. I'll pack my whole cooler based on that. So 2021 red wine. See, I'm here for it.
it's 13.5% alcohol. So it's not super light.
Right.
This one's Free Seeker Pinot Noir. So that's gonna be it is an Oregon Pinot Noir in a can, and it is 13.5% alcohol. So that's also one that hits the marks. Now, Texas wine usually is always lower in alcohol. It's just
Okay.
the growing season in
Hmm.
Texas, the hot summers. So you're
Right.
always have any red wine you get there is going to be usually lighter in body and lower in alcohol. I've had
Okay.
Beyonds that were like only 13 that was quite light. This one's Aglianico is the varietal. That's a lighter varietal. Most people don't see that varietal though, and it's 13% alcohol. So, but these are half bottles. This one's 355 milliliters, and then this one is 375. So 375 is a half bottle of wine
Right.
that you get when you go and buy a half bottle. It says 375. I'm surprised this one says 355. Maybe they didn't fill it as much. Um, but yeah, I really wonder also if the can versus the glass has any bearing. Probably not. I've had these and they pour like exactly two glasses or
Okay.
a glass and then a little refill. Like, it's however you want to do it.
Listen, you have given us a lot to think about, and I want everyone to give wine a try. Just give it a try. Step out of your comfort level. Try something different because you will find that you will. If you step out of your comfort level, you are going to find something that you are going to like. But you have to step out there first. So I can't wait to find these cans of wine. My grandchildren are gonna be like, "Oh, Nina, what's this?" I'm like, "Put that back. That's not for you. That's."
I
I thank you for joining me today. I can't wait to go find my cans of wine, and I'm going to tag you when I do and when I pour one up because it's because of you that I've been stepping out of my comfort level and trying these new things. So I thank you for giving me the courage to do it because you give me so much great information that you know how you get the information. It's like, okay, what am I going to do with the information? I'm gonna use it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm using my wine knowledge. I'm not a wine connoisseur, but I have the wine knowledge now. And that's all I really need just to enjoy a great glass of wine.
Yeah, absolutely. Just be an informed purchaser, an
Yes,
buyer, an informed drinker. So you can get the best bang for your buck, and get your best values. There's a lot of wines out there that you just, with a little bit of information, you can get like a higher quality for a lesser amount. You don't have to always purchase like a $50 bottle or something or $100 bottle. You can get quality of wine for cheaper values. Yeah.
exactly. So thank you for joining me today. Have a great rest of your Tuesday and hi to the fur baby. I see he joined you.
I know. Zoe's been here the entire time. She's been right,
Oh,
never far away.
have a great Tuesday.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.